On this week's show, we're discussing all the reveals from Gamescom Opening Night Live, PlayStation ramping up its prices stateside, the Xbox ROG Ally finally has a launch date, and Metal Gear Solid Delta reviews are here. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming podcast, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together and round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild TV or GamerGuild Podcast and you will find us there every Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes up. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris at Arcane ROG, joined by the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
Happy Bank Holiday, everyone.
Happy Bank Holiday indeed, which are in the UK. Specifically
in the UK, yeah.
Elsewhere in the world, do what you want, take the day off, call in sick, however you want to enjoy this show.
If you're late for work because I said Happy Bank Holiday, that's on you.
Yeah, if you're just about to stick the kettle on for your morning routine and think, oh, back to bed with me, then that's up to you. That's your choice.
Richie said I can.
I'm sure that'll fly. Who needs a sick note when you've got Richie on a podcast telling you what to do? Of course, we do have a great show lined up for you all, as we always do every single week. But before we get into it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring-a-ding-ding that bell so you are kept in the loop with all of the great content we do here on the channel, like this very show, like our weekly live streams, like our retro looks backs, and much, much more. We do have a merchandise store filled with many, many good things. As it's getting a bit colder now this past couple of weeks, days, I guess. We complained about the heat last week. Now we can complain about the cold front coming in.
I think we've had about 2 cold, chillier days, and it's meant to be back up to 25 degrees by the time this podcast goes out.
It's the weather for you. But we won't go into that this week. But if you do want some merchandise, whether it's hot or cold, or you just want a mug to fill your hot or cold drink up with, go check that out. Available now. Link description below. And of course, if you want to talk about games a little bit more in depth, why not join our Discord server? It's filled with loads of wonderful people, loads of fantastic gamers out there talking about all things about releases, takes on things, upcoming things, retro things. It's all there in the description. But as always, we like to start off every single episode of the GamerGuild Podcast by talking about what we've been playing this past week. So I'll throw it over to my co-host, Mr. Richie, to talk us through what you've been twiddling your sticks with on the last 7 days.
I am very much trying to get to the end of Final Fantasy X before... yeah, it's a big game. Before Metal Gear Solid drops. So I reckon I'll have it done, Final Fantasy X done this weekend, which gives me the weekend just gone by the time people listen to this, which will give me this
5
week
days
to try and get the Platinum and Clay Obscure Expedition 33.
Ooh, 5
so
days.
That's the plan. And for anyone who knows Final Fantasy VII, is wondering where I'm up to, I'm inside Sin. I'm on the last push.
Is Sin a person?
Sin's like the big boss of the game.
And you're inside them?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds a bit...
Yeah, I'm basically last dungeon of the game. Right. So I reckon tomorrow... we're recording Friday, so probably Saturday evening. No, because actually I'm meant to be going out with my girlfriend's parents. Oh, no. Sunday evening, I'll hopefully roll credits.
The days are burning away as you lay them out, lay them out on course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a challenge. Have you in the past been playing games and you've been so close to your Platinum Trophy, you've delayed playing a new launch because you're so close to the end? You know, almost like a OCD, I need to see it through before I unwrap and install a new entry?
Yes, but not very often because I don't tend to commit to a new game until I'm ready to play it. Yeah. At the moment with Final Fantasy X, is a different situation because I'm basically playing it to kill that time.
Right. Okay.
But I do want to go back to Expedition 33. It's just one of them. Well. It's just one of them. That bit of time. I'm definitely not getting the platinum at the moment in Final Fantasy X. There's just way too much still to do. You have to fully level up every character, and I'm maybe a fifth of the way through.
Right.
It's insane, the requirements to platinum that game. And it would literally just be a fuck ton of grinding. So I've made a decision. I've been getting some of the trophies, got all the summons now. I've got all the celestial weapons not fully powered up. People who know the game will understand what I'm talking about. But basically they're like the top end weapons for each character.
Nice.
So I'm getting there, and a lot of stuff, collectibles, and getting most of them. Some of them are like kind of locked behind really end game bosses, which I did try one, and they one shot my entire party, and they got to go first. So there's literally nothing I could do.
Wow! So
it's that kind of
I'm
nowhere near.
Not too dissimilar to Expedition 33, especially when you play without Pictos.
I think Expedition 33 is kind in terms of having to have your characters up to level 99 compared to Final Fantasy completing the sphere grid.
Yeah.
But Expedition 33 is very much not kind of things like the Gestrel games, which they suck.
Yeah.
They just do.
Well, remember the tips I told you about, though? You don't need to get certain ones.
Tips aside, yeah. And some of the bosses, I think, are harder because it's not just fully turn-based. There is that live component to it, which means getting your parries and your dodges timed well is important. Final Fantasy X being turn-based, you can actually just, if you're a decent strategy, get through it. Unless you come up against a boss, like, as I said, that wiped my entire party in one shot without me having a go. There's nothing you can do about that. You just have to have enough health to survive.
Yeah, that's why like ping pong and back between Expedition, when you meet an individual called Simon, having Pictos that allow you to go first and then also like have two goes in one help massively for doing any kind of damage before he even gets to swing his sword. Because
I'm aware of Simon. Simon's one of the beating Simon's actually one of the trophies I need.
Yep.
The last journal is behind Simon. Mm-hmm. So if I beat Simon, basically there's two trophies straight away.
Yeah, they all
then it's Gestrel Games, level 99, and the Mime and Lumiere. That's all I need.
Yeah, the Mime was my.
The Mimes, I'm not concerned about the Mime at all.
No, you can.
That'll be new game plus.
You can
done.
one shot them. Just go. Fuck you, Mime.
So it's Simon, Gestrel Games, and then level 99 is just a grind.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Which that's where I may, going back to your question, I may delay Metal Gear Solid if I'm very close to, and that is the last trophy I need.
Yeah, sounds good. Unless there's a need for a live stream somewhere in there, because I know you haven't played Metal Gear 3, have you?
No.
I have, and I know how much we enjoyed playing Metal Gear 2 back in the day. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I want to be part of your first experience of it, if the cards, if the planets align for that somehow. But we'll look into that. We'll get into that as well. I've been playing Mafia, the old country still. I am pleasantly happy to say that I have finished the story of Mafia,
the old
country now. So I haven't got the platinum trophy, but I'm not too far off. I need to do a couple of collectibles in the orb. It's a bit weird actually, because the devs have said they're going to implement it after the fact, but even though it's got like its mini open world in Sicily, if you stray too far from the linear missions, it does say like you've got 10 seconds to get back to the mission area. But there is free roam parts, because you don't leave the one map the whole game. You're very much self-contained. And you can go to the menu and go into drive mode, where it just lets you freely walk around and get the collectibles. But when you're actually playing the campaign, you can't really go off the beaten path too much, because there's a few times I've been heading towards a collectible that I'm not too far from, and then the timer pops up going, you've got 10 seconds to get back to your vehicle. And I'm like, shit, can I get to the collectible before the timer runs out?
That's a quite short period of time, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it really is. But apparently the devs are working on just like a free roam mode after the fact, so it's getting implemented. And again, if you finish it, you can go into drive mode and do it. Yeah. So I need to go around and find like these mysterious foxes, take photographs. It's typical open world stuff, like find all like the collectibles, like newspaper journals and such. But in terms of the story, though, I talked about a little bit last week. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was everything I expected. And more, pleasantly surprised. I thought the characters were fantastic. The voice acting was terrific. Graphics looked wonderful throughout. And I just really enjoyed exploring this Sicilian world of like the early 1900s. A couple of plot twists, which I wasn't expecting, which were nicely delivered. Very Game of Thronesy in a way as well. I know the Mafia is your typical, like almost Game of Thrones, like the dynamic of families hating each other and certain responsibilities, and your oaths to your honours to your family, and your allegiances lie with them, and there's backstabbing, betrayal, and stuff.
And there's always a rat.
There is always a rat. You're right. Yeah. My new favourite swear word, which I annoyed the hell out of my wife when we were away this week in Chester with the family, was figgy puttana, which is Italian for sons of bitches. And
figgy
literally
puttana.
all the time I was like, figgy puttana, figgy puttana. She was like, would you stop saying that? But
Have you bought her some figs?
No.
Figgy potato.
I didn't even know what it meant the first few. I knew it was a curse word, but I didn't know what it was. Because you can imagine there's a lot of that in this game. But yeah, overall, I can't recommend this game enough. It's slotted in nicely behind, I think, Expedition 33 in my kind of game of the year running tally. I really enjoyed it. Again, I think the biggest thing about it all is in between the big releases we've got coming out over the couple of weeks is just, it's like a 10 to 12 hour campaign. And I'm like satisfied. I'm not. It wasn't drawn out. It didn't over repeat too many missions. Like, it's got your typical missions. Like, go from point A to point B. It plays a cutscene. You have to take out a few goons, whether it's a stealth mission or like an Uncharted duck and cover mechanic mission. You collect ammo. You collect money. You spend your money in a shop to upgrade your weapons and buy different cars and horses, because that's what the game is. It's cars and horses. There's the odd racing mission. That takes part in like the central town and village in the valley, and yeah, just overall I thought all the character dynamics were great. There's some interesting boss fights, the knife fights, but believe it or not, even though there is guns, there's a lot of boss fights that center around like knife mechanics, parry, dodge, duck and dive, and slash at them. So that was an interesting mechanic. But just overall, yeah, I think for a game that I paid £40 for, thoroughly enjoyed. Looking forward to that last little chip away at the platinum. It does have a chapter repeat. So anything that I missed, I can just go back in and like mop up accordingly.
So your classic like Uncharted style, go back to the specific chapter, you can replay that to do your collectibles and stuff.
Yep, there's a couple of trophies. Like I think there was one trophy where I had to run a guy off the road before he reached a certain area in the map. Didn't do it in the story mission because I was playing it on hard mode. So I'll go back in a chapter on story or easy mode, I guess. And I'll take them out, but I know what the trophy is. I know how to get back there without having to play 7-8 hours. And it seems like a fairly clean mop-up. I think I've got about 6 or 7 trophies left to go. A few of them are like stackable ones, like X amount of kills with this type of weapon, X amount of kills with this type of knife. But yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. So for a series that I've long mocked on this channel, and Hangar 13, I've had a bugbear against this studio for half a decade now, it seems, because of the Stadia antics. I'm pleased to say I think they did a brilliant job, and I can recommend this game to anyone who likes third-person action-adventure story-driven game, because the beating heart of this game is the story and the characters, hands down.
So would you be tempted to go back and play the trilogy now? Now you've whetted your appetite with Mafia for the first time.
To a degree, I've heard mixed things, because the developers, and what really got it took to me is when they did the behind the scenes reveal a couple of months back now, as they focused on how this was a bit of a pivot from traditional Mafia, leaning more into that story, that linearity.
Yeah.
The older ones, which we know from 3 launching on Google Stadia, is that it was more open world, like a Grand Theft Auto clone in a way. And that really doesn't interest me that much. I've heard mixed people saying like 1's the favourite, 2's the favourite, 3 is good, but it's missing some of the traditional Mafia tropes. I haven't really ever had that much interest in the Mafia as a genre. Like, it's not really like the mob crime syndicate thing. It's never really been something that appeals to me. A bit like Westerns. Like, I think you and me are just of that nature of we're more into superhero, thriller, kind of like, action adventure, like typical action adventure stuff. But maybe it's something that'll grow on me, but if, as far as I'm concerned, if Hangar 13 do well, this sells well, they double down and do another one, because the game does leave it on a bit of a something more could happen. I'd be more than happy to jump into another game that's just exactly like this. Tells a new story in a new area, new cast of characters, same gameplay mechanics, maybe like ramp up a couple of things and improve, iterate on as you normally would. But just, overall, can't recommend it enough. I think you and especially your girlfriend, Richie, I think this is a game that tick all the boxes that you guys love so much.
Yeah. Well, I've just had it in my Amazon wish list as we've been talking, just to keep an eye on the price, because if it drops out a bargain, you never know.
Well, I've got it on disc now, so once I've got that platinum trophy, it's yours to borrow as per usual. But so
I'll tell Nat that you recommend it, and she should steal it.
She'll pick it up on Thursday, no doubt, when she's babysitting. But in terms of game wise, obviously we've got a busy show, but a busy week ahead. Couple of releases. for me, Gears of War Reloaded comes out this Wednesday. So that's one on my radar. So I'm glad this is a shorter game with Matthew, so I can get that wrapped up ahead of Wednesday. And then, of course, as you allude to, Metal Gear Delta next Friday, which I'm waiting to get on my birthday. So I'll have to wait a couple of days like a child. I can't have it on launch.
That's why you're pushing me to do a live stream on this, isn't
Yes, because I won't be able to play it on Friday because I'm actually at a family wedding this Thursday, so there's a couple of other things getting in the way.
I'll have to see maybe next week what my schedule's looking like. But potentially, if you could do a Gears of War on Wednesday and I could do Metal Gear Solid on Friday, that's a bloody good week stream-wise.
Oh, hell yeah. 2 absolute banging classics come back. And that'll make up for our absolute pitiful efforts the last couple of weeks. It's been dry.
Last few months, it's been kind of difficult with between the weather and workload and family. Sometimes I'm just getting back from work and I'm just knackered. And all I want to do is sit there and grind out Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Knock one out.
Yeah.
But not with these new laws. Not with these new laws coming in place. But
we're not allowed to because we're British.
As I did mention, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming soon enough. But we do have a busy show. We had a lot of stuff revealed at Gamescom, but we can't break all that down and get into it until you introduce us to the
graciously gathered Gamer Guild Gazette, a.k.a. The news!
The news! And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, those fantastic folks who support the channel that extra little bit more. From as little as 99p, you can get early access to this very show, some of our live streams, and some of our retro looks back. We've currently had, recently, a Uncharted Drake's Fortune playthrough, Richie's long-running Pokemon Blue series on the Game Boy.
It's only long-running because I haven't had a chance to record in weeks.
Slow-running series on the channel. But you do get it early. So if you are a member, there's some perks, there's stickers and badges next to your name in the chat. But more importantly, we do really appreciate your support because we are just essentially a two-person full-time crew with artillery support coming in from Tom and Richie when we have holidays and stuff happening. But we do this as a hobby.
You know what we should do? We should con Tom and Rob to do an episode of the podcast, and me and you can focus on recording some stuff for the channel.
Go and knock one out.
Knock one out the Final Fantasy. Knock one out the Pokemon. Knock one out the Gears of War.
Oh, that's a weird way of throwing a Pokeball. But as I mentioned, Richie, jokes aside, Gamescom was this week. Jeff Keighley had his opening night live over in Cologne, Germany, and we got a nighttime slew of reveals and announcements and some dates for games. So that'll be the start of our show with story number 1. And we'll go probably in, I'd say, chronological order of the show running. There wasn't any kind of big mega standout, so there's a couple of big ones in there. But they kickstarted the event off with Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which, again, we know is coming later on this year. It's going straight into Game Pass day 1, so if you are an Xbox player, fantastic news for you. You're getting another massive AAA title. The interesting one with Black Ops 7 this time around is this is the first time we've had back-to-back editions of a Black Ops series. Normally they go on those 3-year, 4-year rotational cycles. We have a Modern Warfare or some kind, and then we get something random mixed in, and then we get back around to Black Ops. This time, back-to-back years, we've got 6 last year, 7 this year. So set in the year 2035, we see a world gripped by terrorism where militarized police and soldiers take the battlefield in both real world and what appears to be simulated topsy-turvy versions of LA. So there's some trippy stuff going on. LA, Angola, Tokyo, Alaska, and somewhere called Avalon, which is a living, breathing space that evolves with the player, according to the devs. The trailer also showed off some kind of zombie mode called Arcade Zombies, which, for anyone who's familiar with Call of Duty Black Ops in the past, Arcade Zombies has been in there, which is a bit... Can you remember Dead Nation, where it's like almost like an isometric top-down version of things? It's like that, but with Call of Duty aesthetics and weapons and skins. So it looks really, really good. I've not played it on the previous ones, but apparently it's been in previous games. It's like an RPG-style experience. David Mason's back, who's the protagonist from the last one, so if you're familiar with the voice acting, you'll hear him familiar, the cast and crew from Black Ops 6, which, again, I really enjoy Black Ops 6. So it's interesting that year to year, I'm now getting almost like a second introduction to this world without having to wait that 3-year cycle. So do you think, I don't think this is a Microsoft decision. I think this has probably been an Activision decision well before the merger, because these games are so long in development now.
I don't know, because it could have been the case of Microsoft deciding, because this was the furthest along in development, to go Black Ops, because Microsoft are trying to claw back money after the Activision purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than sitting on it for a year or two, it's good to go, let's go, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's obviously Treyarch doing the main one, and then you've got Raven are in charge of the story campaign. So remember, they did skip a year previously with the campaign. They ditched it from 3 years ago, I think. I can't remember which edition it was. But you got to imagine over at Activision now, they've got the engine down. It looks gorgeous. They've got the gunplay down. It's been best in class for arguably 10 plus years now. You do wonder how fast these teams are able to churn out content once you've got the assets and the gameplay.
See, for me, I've always thought if you're going to do like a game a year, and the rotating studio thing, I think is a good idea, because it means that you're giving each game a bit of time to breathe. Where I'm not interested, I tried to play Black Ops 6, I could not get into it at all because felt like there was a lot of stuff that I should have knew from the previous games, which I just didn't know. So after like a handful, maybe like 4 or 5 hours of playing, I got the impression of like a driver actually might not have even been 4 or 5 hours, might have been like 3 hours. I got the impression I wanted to go back and play through Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then try 6.
Yeah.
So I have basically zero interest in 7 because of that. I'm in that weird space with it, where because it is a long running and a continuous story.
Yeah.
And I'm just not interested in the multiplayer in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I'm very much more interested in seeing how the crowd is divided with how well Battlefield 6 is being received at the moment, and what the competition looks like this year now, because it's big.
Do you know what my bet is? Critically, and a lot of like idiots on the internet like ourselves are going to be going, Battlefield's better than Black Ops 7. Sales-wise, 7's going to dwarf it.
Oh, yeah.
Not even going to be close. But I think a lot of people in the video game space, whether they're just commentators like us or actual press, I think do get the Call of Duty fatigue and get sick of seeing it every single year. But if you're just a guy who likes to play video games with his friends on 1 or 2 evenings a week, and you play Call of Duty, you don't care. You're actually glad for the next title coming out every year.
Yeah. So apparently we're a big enough show for sponsorship now, guys. So check out this ad.
If you like video games, then you can't miss Call Me By Your Game. It's a podcast hosted by me, Sweetie Pie, Connor McCabe, where I invite a guest to share about a special video game from a memorable moment in their life. That's right, it's baked in nostalgia. Was Persona 5 a warm blanket during the pandemic? Did Mario Kart 64 feel like a vacation? Or does Spyro remind you of that winter break with Dad? These are the types of stories told on the podcast. So call me Tetris, Half-Life, or StarCraft 2, it's up to you. Find the show wherever you get your podcasts, and get ready to call me by your game.
Absolutely. Well, they did announce that there's going to be a Call of Duty event taking place at the end of September, which is probably going to reveal like it's the last big virtual push. And the game's going to launch on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on November 14th. So not too long to wait now. No Switch version this year, which doesn't surprise me, but obviously they did confirm during the CMA legal back and forth with the Activision Blizzard King buyout that they would commit to bring it to Switch for the next decade. Do we think this is just a logistical issue of it? Just the games, the Switch 2 isn't ready yet? Remember, Nintendo were very precious about getting dev kits out. For all we know, Microsoft just in Activision by proxy just didn't get enough to really get the waters tested with a version of it. Because obviously the Switch version is going to be the lesser version. But it's interesting to see how this pans out. Like, what year do we genuinely see the first Switch version of Call of Duty? Because that's going to be a big day.
Well, I read the commitment is that it needs to go on, every Call of Duty needs to go on Switch. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily need to be day and date. I think this might be, the priority is get it optimized for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Get it out. Deal with the bugs, while probably a small subset of the team are working on the Switch version and optimizing that. But I think it's probably a lower priority. Yeah. I think it'll probably happen early next year.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
There'll be Nintendo. There'll be there's usually like a February Nintendo Direct, isn't there?
Yeah,
it'll be there. That's my guess on this.
That'd be a nice boost for it. Or if they can get Warzone over to it, then you've got like a perpetual version of Call of Duty existing. But either way, big announcement kicking off the event with a huge one.
That's probably a big part of it. They're probably looking to port Warzone first, get the engine over, and then get individual games after that.
Then Warzone brings them in money as well constantly. Not that the other ones don't. But moving on through our Gamescom reveals, we got a next up a cinematic for Lords of the Fallen 2, which was a sequel to 2023's title by Hexworks and CI Games. This is the dark fantasy game through and through, where an armored knight character goes toe-to-toe with angelic foes against the backdrop of a crumbling medieval world. This one is set 100 years after the previous entry to give a barrier between the living and the dead. It's basically if you've not seen Lords of the Fallen, Richie, it's like a Dark Souls game, for all intents and purposes. But the cool thing with this one is the guy has a lamp where he basically carries souls from the dead. So you're fighting essentially demons in some kind of limbo.
So far,
world.
sounds like you're describing Dark Souls.
I mean, it pretty much is.
I know, like Dark Souls is bonfires you rest at and you pick up your souls, but you can see the tropes all over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's even got a similar aesthetic. I think when I was watching this along, I think I could tell it was Lords of the Fallen before I even got to the actual main reveal. It's one of those titles that I think just quietly does well. It ticks over, it gives people that Dark Souls feed. Of course, they had Lords of the Fallen, or The Lords of the Fallen, and then they had the reboot called Lords of the Fallen. So they did like one of those like tactical reboots. And in a world where Souls-like games have done phenomenally well, I think this is definitely one of the prettier ones out of them, from what I've seen. The gameplay looked fun. It's back to what you and me say on the show time and time again, that I just don't have time or patience in my life to die 100 times every time I fight a boss.
Yeah, same. And for our PC listeners, there's a Steam sale on for the original Lords of the Fallen, which you can get the game for $14.99. But it does end the 25th of August, so depending what time that ends, you might have missed it.
If you remember, you'll learn about it much, much earlier. But it's nice to see it happen. I'm always happy to see, like, I guess, not AAA, because I would class this as like a AA game for all intents and purposes.
I mean, the polish is there. I'd say it's a AAA game in terms of the presentation, but maybe not in terms of the mind share and the marketing.
See, this is where I feel like we're in that world now, where because of things like Unreal Engine, the
qualities.
Yeah, I didn't blink twice at the gorgeousness of Expedition 33 or Mafia this year, and they are both. I mean, Expedition's a brand new studio, so they can't go straight into being AAA when they've never put anything out in the past.
Yeah,
and then Mafia again, Hangar 13, small tiny studio for compared to the grander scheme of things.
I'm watching like a gameplay trailer on Steam for the original Lords of the Fallen, and I don't think it's visually much of a step down from like a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's quite there, but you're splitting hairs, and that's Lords of the Fallen 1. But I suppose it's the only game that's 2 year old, so it's not as that old.
Yeah, they've had a good turnaround with all of that. To be fair, all things considered as well.
Yeah.
Next up, though, Richie, as part of the Gamescom reveal, we got Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which was arguably one of the bigger reveals of the evening. We had a gentleman come on stage from the dev team as well, say that the Legacy of the Dark Knight covers Batman's whole career from the origins to his legend. Decades of lore here that's going to go across all of the best Batman movies, across comics, games, TV shows, and movies. And basically, it's going to be a proper love letter to the IP as a whole, with some deep cuts and some gags and stuff in between, which I guess we wouldn't expect anything less from a Lego game. You can, it's got an open world Gotham City, your choice of Batmobile, and the Legacy of the Dark Knight doesn't have a release date just yet, but this was one of the biggest ones for me, Richie, which had me properly popping off. Because I do enjoy a good Lego game, you know, and I'm a Batman fan as everyone is, but everything I saw in this trailer, the irony in it all is that we've been waiting over 10 plus years for Rocksteady to put out a great Batman game, and Lego have the audacity to rock up, give us a Gotham City that looks exactly like the Arkham games one, with all like the neon lights and the open world. They knew
exactly what they were
absolutely
doing.
The music, the combat is Arkham combat, Richie, with like quick style, like reactional blocks and flips and dodges and moves. It even shows you a brief moment when he uses the bat gel to squirt on the wall to blow the wall through. So not only does he have the Arkham games like scanning mode, combat, gadgets, open world, it's got the humour that Lego brings, and the fact that it's panning across. This is basically the Lego Skywalker Saga collection of Batman. It covers all movies. We see the various Batmobiles in there. We see clips from the Robert Pattinson Batmans in there. There's the Nolan Batmans.
It seems like what they've tried to do is kind of take all the different Batman IP out there, because there's various different iterations of Batman that don't sync together, and go, how do we turn all of this into one cohesive story, but make it Lego?
Make it Lego.
Now, my wonder is this going to be a true Lego game where you have to actually build stuff, or is it going to be more like Lego Horizon Adventures?
Yeah, the devs did address that. It's more on the Horizon side, where it's in a Lego world with there are going to be more building elements, but it did say that the roster of who you play as, it's not going to be like 40 characters. You're going to be able to play as like Batman, Jim Gordon, Catwoman I think was one, and a slew of other people, but you're not going to be able to play as like 40, 50 different people, and you're going to rotate them around. So it does seem like it is a more focused story. And
is that just what Lego games are now, do you think, going forward? They've stripped back the number of characters, they've changed up the formula, or is it just specific to this game?
I think it's just specific to the IP. I think, like, does it really merit the reason why you would be playing as a Bane henchman because you happen to have the skin made of Lego?
Yeah.
Is there any reason for a small character to crawl through a hole just to pull a lever when, if you think about as a game developer, you should be doing something a bit more creative than rinse and repeat, which I think the Lego games fell foul of quite a lot. Yeah,
well, actually, I think Lego Horizon Ventures fell short on some of the more collectathon-y stuff. Yeah. Like, getting like True Believer on every level, getting all the red bricks, all that kind of stuff that just basically wasn't there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So it's...
But I was super excited for this one. And then to top that all off, Richie, they had the one and only Matt Berry voicing Bane, and as soon as I heard him in the trailer going, I was born in the darkness, but it wasn't. So Tom Hardy.
Was actually
it's confirmed as Matt Berry now. So
I was sat there thinking, I genuinely forgot to double check if it was him. I was like, that sounds like Matt Berry doing a Tom Hardy Bane impression.
Yeah. So Bane seemingly is one of the main focused villains on it, so there's going to be some absolute Lego humor to be had there with his prowess. So yeah, getting into the games, but he's in Fallout, of course, the show. Now he's rocking up in this as well. You got a fly on your nose. It's like a black dot appeared on your nose out of nowhere.
It's just a bit of black. I don't know what's happening.
He's been attacked by the Dark Knight of bugs. But yes, this one for me popped off. Again, I enjoyed the Lego Skywalker Saga, but at the same time I was equally disappointed, so I'm hoping they've learnt a little bit from the mistakes. But people have been talking about TT Games having a few problems behind the scenes and the direction which they're taking the studio, but I think this looks great. I think this could be a big win. And again, there's always a hunger for Batman games, right? The kids love it, adults love it. It's got an 8-year legacy at this point. I'm pretty sure Batman goes public domain some point in the next 15 years. So,
ironically, this is probably going to be the biggest Batman selling game in a long time.
I mean, let's face it; it doesn't have to. Try
and WB still try to do a games as a service thing after it.
Is it? I'm going to call it now. It's going to have a better Metacritic rating than Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League, and Gotham Knights.
Yeah, you could just literally cancel the game and still do that.
Quite possibly. We then move on, Richie. We got a nice big announcement, which actually, you know what? After last week's show when we were talking about Dawn of War Definitive Edition coming out, I was pleasantly surprised. I did for a brief moment think we were getting more Space Marine, and I thought, how have they turned it around this quickly? Yeah. But yes, we got the reveal of Dawn of War 4. It got a cinematic trailer, which we saw the kind of typical Warhammer 40k stuff. We saw Blood Marines fighting against Necrons, I want to say. Not too sure. It's been a good while, but they look like the alien skeleton. Look like
Orcs and Necrons, mainly.
What the Necrons look like? General Grievous. Kenobi. that look like him, basically, if he had an entire fleet of people to deal with. Coming to PC in 2026, and I was just happy to see more Warhammer love. I know I kind of waxed lyrical last year when Space Marine 2 came out. It kind of rekindled my love and adoration for the world, and I think we're on the cusp of a big moment for the Warhammer franchise as Henry Cavill takes helm of like a Warhammer movie TV series. And
I was just feeling this seems like a Henry Cavill-esque game because he's a hardcore PC gamer.
He plays as Necrons, I think, in every interview he talks. There's a great clip with Henry Cavill, which everyone's probably already seen, when he's at an interview panel and there's like him, the interviewer, and I think 3 of his ladies from the Witcher series, like his leading ladies from that show. Yeah. And the interviewer asked him a question about Warhammer 40k or something, and he asked him who he's currently playing as, and he says Necrons, or Henry Cavill says, "Oh, I'm playing Necrons," and he says, "Shall we later? Yeah, we'll just catch up." Yeah, and they basically like agree in a couple of brief micro moments that they're going to catch up after the show and nerd out about Warhammer.
It's like, we're both nerds in this shit, but this isn't the time and place to talk about it.
Yeah, the girls often sit there in the chairs being like, oh, here he goes again. But ultimately, he's at the helm of this new series, so I think seeing it all have a resurgence. And remember, Space Marine 2 was 12 plus years after the original came out, so the fact that Dawn of War is also getting another resurgence. It has its definitive edition. Also available, was massively discounted on Steam last week, so that's maybe one to keep your eye out for.
I'm looking for when Dawn of War 3 came out, actually, just out of curiosity. 2017. 8 years ago. So,
overdue.
So it'll be 9 years by the time this comes out, yeah.
But sometimes I think with the RTSs...
I think RTSs, they're slowly making the comeback.
I think they're
starting to... There's a bit more movement on that front than we've seen in years.
I mean, we're in a world now where we're getting phenomenal 3D platformers, like Astrobot coming out, and Donkey Kong Bonanza... And now we're getting a resurgence of RTSs. We've got Jurassic World Evolution 3 coming out as well. We've got the... I don't even think it's in our doc for this week's show, actually, but Age of Empires 4 Definitive Edition got announced for PS5 as well. So that's another Xbox game coming over. But it's like the massive resurgence we've seen in like Age of Mythology, got its Age of Mythology retold. So it's like they're massively coming back, aren't they? So we're just in a world where everything we grew up with in the 90s is now... full circle, super popular again, and Dawn of War 4 leading the way. So looking forward to seeing that next year.
I think there's a realisation these titles, if they're given a bit of modernisation, can be kind of evergreen on these platforms. So they might not do huge sale figures out the gate, but they will slowly tick over forever.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always going to have nerds who like playing these type of things.
And they're probably listening right now.
They are, you nerds. We got a little bit of kind of like a little pocket of news from this next segment. We had Monster Hunter Wilds having a Final Fantasy XIV crossover and vice versa. So Monster Hunter Wilds going into Final Fantasy XIV. That's hard to say. Nothing really in there for me personally. I don't know if there's anything that stood out for you.
Very quick side point. Did you know that Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a Final Fantasy crossover? No, not Odyssey, Origins.
Not to my knowledge.
There's Assassin's Creed Origins has a crossover with Final Fantasy 15. You can ride a chocobo as a mountain Assassin's Creed.
Oh, maybe. Did I see that?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. Yeah. That's crazy.
But anyway, quick side point.
I mean, no surprise here, isn't it? It's Capcom, Square Enix. They've collaborated quite a lot in the past. I mean, Richie, you're the more Final Fantasy inclined. Did 14 online dabble in it ever appeal to you?
I left my...
It's too big to even consider jumping into now.
I left my MMO days well behind with World of Warcraft. When I was in MMOs, it was World of Warcraft. I wasn't really interested in anything other than that. And then when I stopped playing World of Warcraft, I just left MMOs behind entirely. So I've not even played a single minute of it.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with it.
I've no intention, because with MMOs, you're committing to that game being the hobby rather than gaming being your hobby.
Yeah, same for most things. But it got a big round of applause, and I think it's cool that these type of things happen in this world. And we'll talk about later on with Helldivers and Halo, but just the world of gaming. Next up, we had Onimusha Way of the Sword. It didn't really get any more news. It was more of just a reveal trailer showing off some sword play, some bow-based combat, a couple of boss encounters. So if you're looking forward to that, it was more of just a reminder of it's coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion. Sean, don't know how you would say that, got a demo available now. It's also coming to Switch 2. So that's coming on 5th of September. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And then I think this segment kind of wrapped up with a tease of Fallout Season 2, which I'm hyped for. I'm actually shocked at how quick this has came around. I feel like I only just wrapped up on the first season not too long ago, and then you and me checked out Fallout 76 on stream, and then here we are, we're mere months out. Yeah, and then it's already done.
Fallout, Season 1 was, I think, early last year. I think me and Nat hadn't been together long, and we literally watched one episode, I think it was like on the Friday night, then the rest of the season on the Saturday.
Yeah, me and Nicola went through it quite quick too. But we know we're heading to Vegas. We've got our first glimpse of a Deathclaw as well, as it appears in the show for the first time, premiering on Amazon Prime 17th of December. So there's some festive Christmas viewing for you, Deathclaws and nuclear fallout.
I've made the decision to stay away from any trailers because I just want to be surprised as much as I can.
Oh, I've just spoiled loads of stuff for you, but there you go.
It's fine.
Next up, we have an update for Indiana Jones, which I was tempted, when I was thinking about what games I would like to play after I wrap up with Mafia, and I was like, do I make the jump now and jump in with Indiana Jones on PS5? Because I held off on that Platinum on the Xbox because I knew I wanted to get it for PlayStation. But I'm not yet. I'm going to keep hold of my precious pennies for now.
I'd wait for the DLC.
Yeah.
And wait for like a definitive. I reckon that if I was you, I'd wait for like a definitive edition to come out if you haven't already bought the base game.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Order of the Giants got confirmed a date coming 5th of September. I think it's the same as the rest of them. But alongside the trailer, interestingly enough, we got the confirmation that it's also coming to Switch 2, Richie, which makes this the first Xbox title to come over to Switch.
That's awesome.
So it kind of went under the radar a little bit because they showed off like the trailer for the DLC, which was like, okay, we've kind of seen this already. We knew the DLC was coming. Again, Troy Baker coming back doing a terrific Harrison Ford impression. It seems to be just like a little contained story within the crypts of Rome. So obviously they're just using the similar map and assets. I mean, I'm curious to see how this DLC fits in because it feels like it's just going to be a optional part in the main campaign whilst you're in the Vatican. You're just going to have a choice to maybe go down a certain tunnel in a path, and a priest's going to mention, go check out this locked door, and that's going to take you into like this DLC area, like quite a contained story.
I've got a feeling you might start off in the Vatican, you go explore something like a different route down through the sewers, and then you may end up in a new area entirely where the DLC's set.
Yeah, I think it's quite easy to just have like a separate sub-catacomb, and then there's like a contained story. Because it's always interesting when they had DLC like this, is how do you weave it into the main game without getting in the way of the main game?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, is just make it like a side event, a side quest. Like, you can give it take it or leave it, but when you explore the Vatican, you can head off.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Switch 2 version coming 2026. We obviously have had Xbox-style games on Switch before. We got Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps, but that was always a second-party deal with Xbox. It wasn't. Moon Studios aren't owned by Xbox. Whereas now these ones are. So again, it's an interesting push from Microsoft. I think we've alluded to before. Is this the start of the dam-breaking Switch side, where we discussed already in this show that we're going to see Call of Duty at some point?
Yes.
Do we expect to see things like Forza Horizon, maybe?
Yeah,
I think that would be a
could.
top seller on Switch.
I think now the Switch is out in the wild, I think Xbox and their teams will be slowly getting like any engines over, getting familiar with the Switch hardware, and I think you'll see probably a steady trickle of titles.
Yeah, it's just money on the table, right, for Microsoft at that point. Like, you've got a Game of the Year award-winning game in Indiana Jones. Switch has sold how many units already? Something like 20+ million, I think, of Switch 2. It can run it better than ever before. So if you're Xbox or PlayStation, for that matter, I know we'll talk about it later on, but like Helldivers has got to go to Switch as the next logical jump as well.
I think as well, a lot of the Xbox 360 and Xbox One generation, I could see slowly coming over as to fill up the library of Xbox games.
Indeed, I agree.
Yeah.
We got Deadpool VR. Got an update for that. We got an update for John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which does look quite fun actually, coming in early 2026. But some of these games like out there. We got multiple advertisements for World of Tanks, which seemingly was the sponsor for the show. They had about 2 or 3 trailers, I think, scattered throughout of just tanks blowing shit up. And then we got Death by Scrolling, which I think was the indie premiere jump out one for me. This is an RPG roguelike, which sees you struggling through purgatory to stay one step ahead of the Grim Reaper, where there's 5 playable characters with their unique perks, but the gameplay looks kind of like Vampire Survivors meets Enter the Gungeon, with a little bit of classic Zelda sprinkled in, Richie.
It feels like the map's constantly scrolling.
It doesn't stop. It
doesn't stop, so you have to just keep moving.
Yeah. That's its unique hook. So it's got that lovely, like, kind of 16-bit top-down art style. But yeah, as I'm guessing there's probably a procedurally generated element to this game as well. But yeah, it
will be. It's a roguelike.
Yeah, doesn't stop. And the devil is after you. So this was one where, when you see at these big, glossy, massive AAA events with a stage and beautiful screens and LED showmanship, and then they put up just like, it was like, I think, Balatro last year, where it's just the most minimalistic, simple-looking game ever, and it'll probably sell millions.
And it stands out against every game that is like very dark and dingy, like Soulsborne-esque, or copying off Breath of the Wild's art style, or Fortnite. These kind of prevailing art styles. You throw something like this in, it just stands out a mile away.
Yeah, it really does. I do think this could be like the Balatro or the Vampire Survivors of, if it gets the right price point, like $4.99 or something, or maybe even cheaper. I think I bought Vampire Survivors for like 99p on Switch. Yeah. And I was like, I can't really say no.
I hope it comes out next year, because it's probably unlikely to get Indie Game of the Year this year. I feel like that's Expedition 33.
You think that'll get Indie Game of the Year?
Technically, it should be eligible.
It should be, but I feel like it might be up for Game of the Year.
But
we'll see. We saw next up. We saw the Za /I don't know how to say the studio's name. They showed off its first game since Disco Elysium. We saw Zero Parades showing off, which again, not really too sure what this one is. It looked like a espionage RPG sent on an assignment. But again, I've never played Disco Elysium. It's just one of those that always seems to get insane amounts of praise.
Yeah. It's a game I very much one day would like to play, because one of them sort of games where I feel like you need to play it to understand it, why it's getting the praise it is.
Yeah, it had that like cyberpunk aesthetic to it, that like not cyberpunk. Yeah, it had like a dark, gritty world, and I know like the writing and the dialogue was like really serious in it. I know it got pulled up in a few countries for like its themes and some of the language used in it. Like it was quite problematic. So, and then the devs stood by it. But seemingly they're not like scared to shy away from telling insane stories. But yeah, this is their next entry, and whether it's the same or a lesser version, I'm not sure. Yeah. But it looked interesting. Not too sure what it's really about, but I'm sure it'll do well. It's got a nice art style to it, actually. Similar to Disco Elysium did. I think the art style is the most interesting. For fake radicals is the catchline for the game. So, wishlist on Steam now if you're interested in something like that. The game moved on. We got updates for Ninja Gaiden 4. Got a story trailer. Featured just some more gameplay, dipping into the deeper story of the game. That's coming out. That's later this year, if I'm not mistaken. October time? Because we got Ninja
October
Gaiden...
October 21st.
Was it Ninja Gaiden Red or 2 Red? I can't remember, which is like a reboot of one of the more popular ones. Came to Game Pass, if I remember, in March, April time, with the reveal of we're going to get Ninja Gaiden 4 as well. So they're coming out back to back. We got a new trailer for Silent Hill F, which comes out 25th of September. In a world where we're going to talk about Resident Evil quite a lot, Richie, what do you think Silent Hill F's doing out there? Because I think it's a bit more subdued. I think Silent Hill 2 Remake did really, really well. And this is kind of okay.
I think it's going in a different route to Resident Evil, where Resident Evil still maintains quite a high level of action. It's very much leaning into the Japanese style, like horror movies, and making it almost quite cerebral, quite tense, and not making it always about massive monsters chasing you. Mm-hmm. So I think it does stand. It's a different game to Resident Evil, from what I'm gathering. The more I see like trailers of it.
Yeah, it's definitely part of Resident Evil kind of looking to... Not Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
It's a survival horror, But,
looking to branch out, and I think it's one of those where if they get an interesting premise and they've leaning heavily into the Japanese, well, I think there's a lot of monsters and mythology there, which we've seen through like Ghost of Tsushima and Assassin's Creed Shadows recently, of like... There's some spooky shit in there to lean into. Ghostwire Tokyo leaned into it quite a lot as well, of like that supernatural entities, the Oni, what they're called, the big giant creatures. And there's some creepy shit in this trailer as well.
I feel like this is one of them games where if they get it right, we could be looking at a 9 or 10 out of 10 game. Mm-hmm. But if they get it wrong, it could be a 6.
Yeah.
But that's the specific needle you're trying to thread when it comes to survival horror.
Yeah.
If you aim for something and you miss your mark, it can fall flat.
I agree.
Oh.
The only thing that still stands out for me yet is the combat looks quite clunky still. I think the world looks great. The aesthetic and the horror looks creepy.
I feel like this is where I'm kind of talking. I think that might be the point. To stop your character feeling overpowered. You're not meant to be running into battle, fighting everything, probably. You're probably meant to be trying to escape or feel really quite tense.
Yeah. And
you're playing as a Japanese schoolgirl.
Yeah.
She's not going to be that strong.
You're not quite Leon Kennedy busting down the door with rocket launchers and flamethrowers and stuff.
Yeah.
But interesting.
I think it's interesting, yeah.
Well, we got the English voice actor as well, so you can play it in either Japanese or English at the time. But just curious to see how it pans out, and I'm sure that they're hoping it's going to have a knock-on effect where if they can land it, the Konami are definitely going to see a win out of this, where they've almost got like multiple franchises run at the same time, which is the dream, right? You branch out, you do something different and slightly off the cuff new. But we won't have to wait long. 25th of September, so just pretty much just under a month now to wait for that one. We then got some updates for Outer Worlds 2. Moonlight 2 landed a release date, 23rd of October. Outer Worlds 2, we know that's coming out 29th of October, which it does feel like as we squeeze the summer, or what's left out of the summer out of our schedules and planners, we've got a busy couple of months coming up, Richie, as we head towards the Christmas period. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Legacy of the Forge DLC will be launching 9th of September. We got that as well, with another DLC expansion coming early in 2026. They teased that one off a little bit. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 showed new signs of life, because it's one of these games when I see any kind of logos for Vampire Bloodlines, I don't recall if the game was cancelled, if it does well, if it's successful. There's apparently a sequel, but it's been radio silent for so long. It's got a trailer, but they didn't give any dates or any kind of more. They did a pre-order trailer, but didn't give any alluring to that. I don't know what it is.
A weird. I'm not fully sure. I never played Vampire the Masquerade 1, so I don't really know. But 2, we finally do have a date for it.
21st.
And 21st of October.
Yeah, seeing that the trailer. But no idea what that's about. We then moved on to a big showcase for World of Warcraft Midnight, which was your typical, I want to say like Blizzard trailer, which it was very CGI, very heavy, and it looks absolutely gorgeous, but then you remember that actually the game doesn't look anything like the trailer.
I feel I'm usually against CGI trailers for games because I feel like it doesn't tell you a lot about what that game actually is. But I think for World of Warcraft, they get a pass because we don't need to see what the gameplay of World of Warcraft's like.
Yeah,
it's existed for a long time. You're bringing in the new expansion, you need to set up the lore for it. So
yeah, World of Warcraft Midnight. I do need to ask, this trailer did make me think, as for all the World of Warcraft stuff I've seen in years gone by, what's with the elves' eyebrows?
I don't know, that's just the style. I think fashion.
It's fashion.
Do you not know fashion, Chris?
I do know fashion, but I don't recall in any of the stuff like the most played Warcraft game is not World of Warcraft, just Warcraft 3. And I remember all the cool cinematics and stuff with the humans and orcs and stuff. But yeah, this trailer leans so much into elves fighting elves, it seems to be. Probably dark elves, just judging on the colour palettes. But their eyebrows are just insane.
If you Google Warcraft 3 elves, everyone's got massive eyebrows.
Do they? Oh, well,
yeah.
Maybe that's just my memory chopping them off. They must style them with wax though, because they don't fall down at all.
Well, you have to remember Warcraft 3 was kind of a 3D strategy game, so you're seeing top-down isometric views of the character models, so not face-on cinematics very often.
I guess, my brain didn't put that together. But should have a really good cinematic. Looked really engaging, really emphatic. The music was timed really well. But Midnight's still ticking over. I'd love to know how many people are still playing World of Warcraft, because I know it still has like millions of paid subscribers every month. But it just seems so like... Do you think it's just so... Because it's been going for so long, they just have the fan base... And that's enough to support the game, and then just if you're an outsider, you just don't hear about it because you're not in those circles anymore?
Yeah, I think that's 100% what it is. If you're in the circles for World of Warcraft, you're in them. If you're not, you're not. Because either you're paying attention to it or you're not. So it's one of them. I was just thinking, this trailer didn't need to be at Gamescom to do what it needs to do. They could just have dropped it on their YouTube channel. And everyone who wants to see it will see it.
Remember when we had a Warcraft movie in like the early 2010s? Yes. I want to say. Did you ever go see it?
Don't think so.
No, it seems like that would have been catered towards you and some of our friends, but I think that's why it did bad. Right? It's the people who were fans didn't go see it, and the people who weren't fans didn't go see it either.
What I think is mad is. World of Warcraft first came out in 2004. The first expansion was 2007, then 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, 18, 2020, 2022, 2024. Pretty much every 2 years, they brought out an expansion.
It's mad. World of Warcraft Midnight sounds quite simple. In terms of a naming convention, I feel like all the other ones have been like Blizzards of Wrath, and like there's something more.
The Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mist of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, Dragonfire, The War Within, Midnight, and the next one's The Last Titan.
Yeah, make just the one.
We already have the name of we already have the title for the one after this. Yeah.
Hey, that's planning ahead, right? That's why people enjoy Destiny so much. Is you had that roadmap, you had that 10-year commitment, and I wouldn't be surprised if when we're in care homes and retired, World of Warcraft is still ticking over in the background, and there's all these pensioners playing it.
Maybe that's when we go back to it, when we're pensioners.
Maybe, we actually have time to sit down and get into it ourselves.
Yeah.
We then got some gameplay of Ghosts of Yotei, which we knew was coming. I think Jeff announced it as part of the presentation anyway. But the big thing for me, Richie, with the Ghosts of Yotei, I'm going to say Yotei, even though I'll forget and call it a million different things between then and now, is Ghosts of Yotei Legends. Which I think was confirmed, which I think we knew about, we wanted to talk about for quite some time. But they never really got into it. They never really alluded to it or spoke about it that regular. But you and me are massive fans of the original. It's actually one of the best videos up on our channel.
Yeah,
and
Legends is fun. Don't really have more to say. It's just a fun spin-off thing.
It's one of the best multiplayers I think we've played.
Now, I wish that they made it a standalone thing rather than part of Ghost of Yotei.
Well, this is where I think they've confirmed it's coming in 2026, so it's coming the year after. And it's going to be free to anyone who owns the base game. So I think they're going to basically package it as a paid proposition to people who don't have the game. And then I think those who have it, you get in there at the door for free, obviously. But I do hope it's packaged separately.
I disagree because the trailer says free DLC. So it is downloadable content for Ghost of Yotei. And as I understand it, that means you have to have the base game. Where I feel like Ghost of Yotei Legends will do well on its own.
Yeah, it would do. Because, the gameplay is super fun. The mission structure is really, really fantastic. And the combat of Ghost of Tsushima and by proxy Ghost of Yotei is so fun. So frenetic, fast, interesting with the different stance modes. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to seeing how they lean into it a bit more, take all the lessons learned from the first one. But if PlayStation are looking for a games as a service live money making machine, I don't see how they could get much better than a tried and tested method in Legends.
Yeah,
What does it say on the trailer? Just to go back a second. It does say at the end, Ghost of Yotei base game required, sold separately, available via patch update, internet connection account required, PlayStation Plus subscription sold separately, required for online play, subject to recurring fees until cancellation. Yeah, just the usual stuff then, so nothing. I thought there might be some granular detail in the trailer that would have allured to what we need to know. But looked great. Can't wait for it. Not long now, actually, either, for Ghost of Yotei. And then as we get into the kind of final furlongs, the last two big announcements for Gamescom 2025 was Resident Evil Requiem, which we knew was going to be here for some time. Jeff said about it, spoke about it already, got people on the stage to kind of talk about it, but we met our new character, little Miss Ashcroft, and seemingly a daughter in this kind of like mum and daughter scenario. Some guy breaks in the house. And the biggest thing I've taken away, Richie, this past week, lots of influencers and kind of game journalists got hands-on at Gamescom with this. So they've all played basically like the demo teas, which I think the general public probably will get before the launch in February. I think we mentioned it last week. I actually think one of my predictions was going to be the demo was going to drop live there and then. It didn't. I was wrong. But in terms of what all these journos and influencers have got hands on, they said it's fantastic. You can play in third person or first person as expected. But the biggest takeaway was the light dynamics in this one. So apparently even in the demo, there's lots of light switches. So as you're exploring around this seemingly apartment complex that you're in, or a hotel, the light is the creature or the character that's after you doesn't like the light. So the kind of fear dynamic is you switching on the light switches as you navigate your way around these halls is what keeps it at bay. So you've almost got this like push and pull between finding the next spot of light, a bit like Alan Wake, and the next point. But yeah, I thought the trailer showed off some really interesting characters. The RE engine, again, looks phenomenal in practice. And I'm here for it. As someone who started playing Resident Evil with Biohazard and then into Village, kind of doing things the wrong way around. Still waiting for that number 1 re-release. The trailer looked good, and I think February's a nice quiet time of the year. Not usually known for its horror, but I think it could be timed quite right. And we know from last week's show, this is the most pre-ordered Resident Evil in history, so over 1 million pre-orders and wish lists. What do you think of the trailer?
I think it looks good. I want to see more gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only. There is some gameplay, but it's literally walking down corridors. But yeah, it's definitely one I'm going to keep an eye on. Did you ever watch the Netflix TV show?
No, I didn't. Was this the one where the president's daughter was involved again? I can't. There's been that many TV variants.
No.
Anime one or the animation?
No. It was a live action from 2023.
No, I didn't. Was this the one?
Me and Nat have started watching it. It's actually really good.
Is it a series?
Apparently they announced, it's a series, like 8 episodes on Netflix. But they already announced that they're not doing a season 2 because of lukewarm reception.
That's always the problem.
Which is one of them. Like watching is like, it's actually good. I wonder if it was just not enough people watching it when it first came out.
Possibly. It's also Netflix, so the problem with that is unless you do Stranger Things numbers or Wednesday numbers of popularity, if you don't get that viral moment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think it got the viral moment, so they've cancelled it, where it's actually a good show.
Yeah, perfectly serviceable, decent TV, big brand behind it, but yeah, if it doesn't get that like viral tick sensation, like The Witcher had, like Stranger Things has, and they can't market it or TikTok it or whatever they need to do with it.
But Disney just as bad.
Yeah,
I still think that it was a shame that they cancelled
Acolyte.
Star Wars Acolyte season 2.
Same. I thought there was some interest. There were some good things and bad things, but yeah, I thought I would definitely have watched more of that.
Yeah.
Have you watched Skeleton Crew yet?
No.
That's really good. Like the Goonies in Star Wars. Yeah. Definitely fun, enjoyable. I think 10 episodes, maybe only 8 episodes. I can't remember, but yeah, nice short. Things like Skeleton Crew and
Bad Batch, I just look at and go, pass.
They're actually some of the better stuff. But speaking of better stuff, though, Resident Evil coming 27th of February next year, so a few months to wait after Christmas. Grace Ashcroft got some fleshing out in the trailer, as I mentioned. No sign of any fan favourites yet. It seems to be quite a contained story. I'm sure it'll pop up at some point. But she's in there with her mum. There's some kind of panic. They're trying to escape from the building after witnessing a murder. And then, we kind of don't really know much more about this. We don't know if it's going to link in with Ethan Winters and the mycelial goopy stuff, what was from the last two games. It might be separate. We don't know what's going to happen with Rose, Ethan's daughter from the last two. Sorry, I was going to say the first two, but interesting. But we'll see more of that soon. I'm sure it's going to be at the Game Awards. It's got to be some at the Game Awards, and maybe we'll get the demo at the Game Awards.
Maybe. I think at Game Awards, that's where you might get your full gameplay trailer and a demo launch. Yeah,
that makes sense. And then Jeff's big surprise, which I'm glad he did it, because I know we always complain when he ends the show and just goes, that's the end. He actually came back after the end and said, actually, one more thing. And he showed off...
got you, bitches.
Got you. Yeah, that's exactly how he described it. It's funny that. He showed off the new trailer for Black Myth Zhongqi, which is the sequel to Black Myth Wukong, which, of course, was a massive, massive game from Science... What are they called? Science Lab? I can't remember now. Game Science? That sounds more like it. Showed off a cinematic trailer, so this game is early in development. It's one of those where I think I wouldn't put too much hope on it just yet, because it's probably 3+ years out, I would guesstimate. Yeah. I think Black Myth only came out last summer, right? So the fact that they're already talking and showing off a trailer, I know the studio again works over in China, so I'm not sure what their timelines are like, or their staff productions, or their budget restraints. But trailer looked gorgeous. Specifically, they showed off the tiger in the trailer. Looked insanely realistic. I've never seen a tiger in a video game look better.
Yeah, I feel like this may be set in the same universe. As it's not. I don't think when I'm reading about it, I don't think it's a direct sequel, as in it continues the story. But I think the story of Black Myth happens in the same universe as Zhongqi.
Yeah, I know Jeff said on stage afterwards, he was like, it continues its journey to the west, which is part of the Black Myth, the Monkey Man story that goes on in that one, Journey to the West. But yeah, it looks like a different character, a different protagonist. I don't know if he's going to turn into the tiger maybe, or whatnot, if he's like a profound Chinese folklore figure, but
the tiger's a metaphor.
I mean, it's not.
He's also got big eyebrows. It's an elf.
It's an elf from the World of Warcraft game. But yeah, you can go find out a little bit more on the website now. Again, it's very, very minimal. But yeah, brief trailer. Yeah, beef trailer, in fact.
A beef trailer.
Beef trailer. Taylor's your beef in the perfect way you like it. But yeah,
also called a butcher.
The only quote that came to it was, upon completing the journey with the Destined One, we now aspire to take a tentative first step to build a more distinct game experience, to challenge ourselves with bolder features, fresh ideas, bringing them to our world and our narrative design. Zhongqi came as a natural choice born of the aspiration and other contributing factors. We're confident that in this new project, we can make refreshing changes, create new things, while taking a hard look at our past, flaws and regrets. And to all the friends who love Black Myth Wukong, the westward journey won't end here. No date, no releases, probably PC and console like the first one did. But you know what? It sold that many units. No surprise. And then that brings us to an end of Jeff Keighley's Gamescom Opening Night Live. I think we said before we started recording, it kind of like a middle affair this time round.
It's absolutely solid, but it doesn't have anything exceptional.
Yeah.
There's nothing imminent that is jumping out to me massively here. Things like we knew about Resident Evil, and I don't feel the needles moved more on that with the trailer we saw.
No.
A sequel to Black Myth Wukong's not it may be a surprise to be there, but it's still years out. Mm-hmm. Silent Hill F still looks pretty interesting if you're into horror games.
Yeah, a lot of updates.
Yeah, there's a lot of updates. I don't think there was a single bad game.
Absolutely, none at all. I thought the whole presentation was like just solid. But yeah, Batman got the biggest pop for me. But again, everyone's got their own preferences. Weirdly enough, Jeff did talk about Hollow Knight Silksong and indie developers and Team Cherry and how long they've been in development for. And then after the event, we got a special Silksong video, which I guess moves on to our next story, which it's finally got a release date. It's coming out September 4th across Switch consoles, PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series. And it's included on Game Pass day one as well, which we kind of knew because they'd alluded to it with the ROG Ally teaser trailers and stuff that it was going to be playable day one. So we knew that was going to be a thing. And even as we talked about it on last week's show, didn't we, saying I don't understand the real hype for Silksong around it. But they did announce today that it actually, since its inception, its initial launch, it's sold over 15 million units in sales. So it's massively popular. But yeah, like everyone popping off during these things, it was like, I can't help but watch the trailer for Silksong and think it looks like a fun Metroidvania style game. Yeah,
as a 2D side-scroll action Metroidvania, I think it's probably the pinnacle of that genre where it's at. And without playing it, it's hard to know what specifically makes it special. But I may need to play the first Hollow Knight at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it on the Switch and I played like the first, I think, 3 or 4 areas, and I was like having fun, but yeah, I don't know, it just didn't. Like, it was enjoyable, but the way people go on about it, like it's like their favorite game of all time. And again, the visuals, the graphics look great, the music's fantastic, the little character's great, and the enemy styles are very well designed. The boss fights are creative, but maybe it's just me and Metroidvanias. Maybe,
yeah, could be.
Not sure. Like, I appreciate everything it's doing, but yeah, I'm sure with this coming out in September, it's probably going to be in a lot of indie game. It won't surprise if it wins loads of awards.
I think you need to play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown as an introduction to Metroidvanias and see if that hits from a publisher you're more familiar with.
Yeah.
And if it does, then maybe you try Hollow Knight after that.
Well, we've got Metroid Prime, right? Rumoured to be coming out.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 3D, though.
All right, what's the ones where Metroidvania gets its actual Metroid word?
Metroid. Like Super Metroid and Castlevania.
Right. But maybe...
But Prince of Persia Lost Crown is a Ubisoft game. Was it like 2 years ago now? Really high reviewed. Nat's currently playing it. It's actually really good. Actually, Nat's just got the platinum, actually.
Was it not this January?
No, that was the other one, Rogue. The Rogue Prince of Persia.
Are we sure? Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown.
2024, Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, because there's 2 of them.
24. Oh,
and Lost Crown was the one that reviewed better, came out first.
Well, we've actually got a story later on regarding the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Because did it release and then get taken back off stores?
I can't remember.
I think we criticised Ubisoft for that one. I mean, we can pivot into that story now. The Rogue Prince of Persia is out now on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, with a Switch 2 version coming later this year. So yes, it's finally launched. Oh, it was in early access, so it hadn't even came out until today or yesterday, a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so the game is coming to Switch 2 later this year, but no confirmed date. To celebrate the 1.0 release, Ubisoft has released a new trailer, combined the lovely 2D animation, plenty of gameplay. In case you weren't aware, this is the developers who did Dead Cells, and then they were randomly given the Prince of Persia IP by Ubisoft to make a phenomenal 2D platformer. Early access was reviewed quite well, but I think, again, we'd alluded to is like Ubisoft just tripping over their own feet yet again. Brought it out early access not long after The Lost Crown last year, and we all just thought, like, why would you release this at a similar time when people are playing the other game? And then I think they brought out the other one.
It feels like it's the sort of thing
maybe.
You want at least a full year between one of these games coming out and the next one. And in that, I would say early access as well includes in that.
Yeah. Well, like Hollow Knight Silksong, the Dead Cells, I bought that on Switch as well and really enjoyed like the 5-6 hours I played of that one, but then just never really went back to it. And yeah, now this is out, and again, typical move. It's like they stealth dropped it, but it wasn't confirmed at Open Night Live. But then it's gone straight into Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. It's clearly Ubisoft cut a deal with them, with Xbox and PlayStation, to get some people playing it.
Yeah.
Early access was reviewed good. It just needed some more polish. Ubisoft pulled the plug on it from early access, and now it's got its official stealth release. It looks very Metroidvania-y.
Yeah, just more of a cartoony art style. With the early access, I think the game has 3 acts, and they were staggered. They released early access as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think it actually looks like a very good game. It is just, I think it's been tarnished by Ubisoft's marketing.
Yeah, there's also that problem that it had last year is looking at this side by side with something that came out more recently. The Lost Crown visually appeals to me more.
Yeah.
Like the art style on the Rogue Prince of Persia looks great, but it looks like I've played this type of game before, whereas the Lost Crown looked distinctly different, and we know that reviewed very, very well. It got a lot of early people's Game of the Year frontrunners.
Again, if this came out looking like this and playing like this, and the Lost Crown wasn't a thing, there's a lot more interest in this game, I think.
Yeah,
and that's entirely Ubisoft's fault for pushing these two close together.
Yeah, but then weirdly enough, it's out now. So if you want to go play it, go fill your boots. If you got Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, it is there right now.
Yeah,
go check it out. Right, Richie, let's get over to some non-Gamescom related news in the middle of all this. Metal Gear Solid Delta, as we alluded to at the start of the show, comes out when this show goes live, just 5 days' time on the 29th of August. It's clearly expected to do well from Konami because the reviews from Influence and stuff have started dropping today, and we're recording on Friday the 22nd, so a week early. And you know a game's going to do well when they're confident enough to get it out a week early. We got some more trailer content dropped this week, but it's currently sitting with an 86 on Metacritic. Would you like to pull some of the positive reviews? See what we got?
Yeah.
Because we're both going to play. We both pre-ordered it with two of the people.
Yeah, we both pre-ordered it with,
Well, I have to
just
wait till my birthday.
Looking for one from a... Game 8, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater joins the ranks of the select few that exemplify how a remake should be done. It captures the essence of what made the original game a critically acclaimed experience while updating its decades-old mechanics and visuals to modern standards. The frame rate occasionally dips during heavier scenes, but this remake has undoubtedly established itself as a definitive way to experience what many consider to be the best game in the franchise. Ooh. I'm assuming that was a base PS5, so PS5 Pro might have different performance.
Snake Eater. Oh, I'm so excited. The trailer part as well just looks... I'm just seeing all like clips of stuff that I know you don't know it so well, so avoid trailers and stuff, but it looks so good. This is how like in my brain it looks, knowing fine well it's a PS2 era game and there's no way it holds up that well.
Isn't that what you want from a remake? The essence of a remake should be you're playing it and this is how you remember the game looking and playing. It'll be completely different to the reality of what the old game was, but that's what the essence of a remake should be, because that means you've captured the magic properly.
Yeah, and these reviews seemingly are leaning into that. I think if you polished up the mechanics, modernized them a little bit, because let's face it, like PS2 mechanics are a bit clunky. By today's standards, clean up the.
I'm currently playing Final Fantasy X, which is a remaster of a PS2 game. Yes, they're clunky.
Yeah.
Push Square, one of the most faithful remakes ever. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater has made a stealth classic feel modern all over again. Its light but meaningful gameplay updates enhanced interaction and feel, while a visual overhaul allows it to rub shoulders with the PS5's graphical elite by staying so loyal to source text. Metal Gear Solid 3 is now just as incredible today as it was over 20 years ago.
Damn. Get the hype build. Are you familiar with the theme tune of this game at all? Like the intro?
I may have heard it, but...
So yeah, this is one of them...
Not immediately come to mind.
Yeah, so the Snake Eater soundtrack is the most James Bond theme you'll get that isn't attached to a James Bond movie. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like beautiful song and the visuals and stuff. So in it typical Kojima style, because he wants to be a movie director, doesn't he? Is the game has like a full-on like animated sequence opening with the theme, like not too long after the intro. So like no spoilers for it, but it's like, yeah, when you hear it, you're like, oh, it just sets the tone for what it is, to a point where like me and my old boss, we sang at a karaoke bar in Birmingham about 2 years ago or something, because we're both big Metal Gear fans, and we just got drunk and the rest of the group had moved on. We were like, let's see if they've just got Snake Eater randomly. But yeah, it's an absolute banger. And I'm excited for this, Richie. Yeah. Cannot wait to experience Metal Gear Solid.
You're a gamer, give it 100 out of 100.
I mean, does this
GameSpot 90, PC Gamer 87,
so
Games Radar Plus only 80, IGN only 80.
Do we think then this sets a precedence for, if it sells well, Konami will just go do the the Resident Evil, route of we'll get this, then we'll probably get 1, because chronologically that's how it happens, then 2, then 4, then we'll probably,
well hope so.
In 15 years' time, we're back at Phantom Pain, and Kojima's been moved on for 20 plus years at that point.
Yeah.
And let bygones be bygones, and Kojima might even be retired at that point. Death Stranding 5's been out, been and gone. And we can all just play these games happily.
I hope so. I think for Konami, it's a safer bet in remaking the games to modern standards than trying to write the next Metal Gear game.
Without Kojima.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the longer that Kojima's gone and the more he's doing his own stuff, the less the internet will care when you finally do go for that Metal Gear 6.
Yeah. You're just going to have a bunch of 50-year-olds who care.
Yeah.
But not us.
But the next generation who don't know Kojima as the Metal Gear Solid guy and have played Delta and have played a remake of 1 and 2 and 3, suddenly the next game in the series is looking very enticing to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of hope they do it, because Metal Gear is awesome.
Yeah. Metal Gear awesome. Next up, Richie, as part of back to Gamescom, I guess in a way, we got some hardware news. Xbox did finally reveal and had hands-on at the event with Asus and Microsoft engineers. The ROG Ally and the Ally X finally available. They're coming October 16th, and of course that's after Silksong, so we'll be able to be playable day one at release as promised. They went into kind of talk about the features and stuff. We're not going to get into the details of it. You can check it out on the website. It does say pre-orders are up now, but I couldn't find the price on any of the website links that I followed. It just took me to like Amazon and Curry's and Smith's Toy Store, but the links actually just took me to a random list of ROG Asus products, not the actual Ally itself. So I'm still not sure what it was, but October 16th is the date, so we got to be seeing it soon, right?
Yeah, the closest I can find really is the non-Xbox branded ROG Ally on Amazon is £529 and the X is $949.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best I can do. And spec-wise, at a quick glance, are basically the same as the Xbox equivalents.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd be expecting them to fall into. But yeah, basically, they need to get the prices out on these.
No, if it's coming October 16th, it's not.
Yeah, I've got a feeling they want to drop the specs so that people digest the specs first before, separate to the price, because the price I think is going to be like that £600 to £1,000, depending what version you go for.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to get one, I'd definitely lean towards the Ally X now. I think if you're going to get one, you might as well go all out and get one. Like, just to future-proof yourself a little bit more.
It's a big difference in price at £400, though.
True, but...
And I know where you're coming from, and if money's not on... If I had the spare cash, that's where I'd lean. But I feel like I would lean towards the ROG Ally, just because there's a lot of things I could do with that £400.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not able to afford one anytime soon, so I can but dream. But it's interesting. We're getting a little bit more of it anyway, so we'll see hopefully more details of that in the coming weeks to come as we do creep closer to it. Pivoting away from more Gamescom news to a nice little subtle one, PlayStation snuck under the rug. Very tactically.
You were sneaky, and we caught you.
Yeah, we caught them. They've announced that they're increasing their prices for the PlayStation 5, all three models, starting with immediate effect. $50. Oh, sorry, not from immediate effect. Oh, 21st of August, so pretty much immediate effect. Already done. Sorry, guys. $50 across all models. So the PlayStation 5 in the US is now $550. The digital edition is $499. And the PS5 Pro is a whopping $750. PlayStation 5 accessories are unchanged. But of course, yeah, we've already seen price rises in other markets. The UK got its own back in April this year. Australia and New Zealand got theirs as well. They'd have to pay more for their PlayStation 5 Sony hardware. And I guess the US has finally caught up, right, Richie? In amongst all these Donald Trump tariffs and changes and inflation and the shit show that is the world right now.
It just feels like PlayStation tried to not have to make this decision, but unfortunately have to.
Yeah, it's one of them where the US is their biggest market, right?
Yeah,
well, arguably,
to protect their profit margin, let's put that in context here. They didn't have to put this 50 quid on. They could have absorbed the cost, but their shareholders would have kicked off. So,
and seemingly everyone else is doing it. So it's just going with the flow, right? So the US has finally caught up with the rest of the world, and it goes back to that point. Sorry,
is this the first generation of consoles where there's been a mid-generation price hike on the current hardware?
Absolutely. I can remember Xbox did it. They put theirs up, I think, was the Series X up $100 a couple months back as well. It goes back to that point. If you are interested in buying a console, your best bet is to get one sooner. If you
day one, it seems to be the smart bet nowadays, because the price is likely to go up. But there you're in the risk of the game's not coming, but backwards compatibility solves that problem.
Yeah. My Switch 2, I paid $429, came with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Do you think come Christmas that bundle is still going to be didn't come with Donkey Kong, came with Mario Kart World, get that right. $429, which, you know what, talking about a PS5 Pro, which cost $750 there, $429 doesn't seem too bad for what I got in that box. Do you think come Christmas that bundle is still going to be $429? Or it's going to be $450 at least?
I think $429.
You still think Nintendo going to lock in?
I think Nintendo are the ones who are probably most impervious to this sort of stuff. I think they'll lock in their price and be very stubborn about not changing it.
Remember, everyone was pissed off with them that they announced $399, $400 initially, and then everyone's bought millions and millions of them, so they're clearly not that pissed off. But
because it's significantly more expensive than the Switch 1.
Yeah.
But $429 with Mario Kart, they've locked that in. I don't think they'll want to risk changing it. Next Christmas 2026, might be a different matter. This Christmas, I think you're safe.
Yeah. What a crazy world we live in, right? Going up by money. But buy it, get it in. And then the last few quick stories as we round out the show for this week. Very Gamescom-centric heavy, but lots of games, so why not talk about them? Square Enix, former Switch exclusive Triangle Strategy game is available and out now on PS5 and Xbox. I think that's a nice one. Did you play Triangle Strategy, or was it just Octopath?
No, I played the demo.
You played?
I played the demo, but I was mainly Octopath 1 and 2 I've played. Never actually rolled credits on 2, actually. Oh. And now I'm interested in Octopath 0. And Dragon Quest.
That looks good as well.
Dragon Quest 3 remake. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remakes.
See, I can't help but look at
I need more time.
This terribly named game, because it is from the Octopath people, isn't it?
Not sure if it's the same studio, but it is in the same engine.
Yeah, I think that's why visually it just looks almost one for one the same. It could be tied to it, problem.
It's Square. Yeah. What specific part of Square, I don't know.
But, it looks great. It was a Switch exclusive. Fill your boots if you're into that kind of thing. Again, it's one of them where, similar to Sea of Stars, I look at it and I'm like, God, it looks so gorgeous. I definitely think I would enjoy it. I just don't have the... What does Octopath take? 70, 80 hours?
Yeah. It's a big game.
I don't have that in my life right now. But it looks great. I think that 2.5D art style that they've gone for this in Octopath, it's beautiful. It's its own type of beauty from the kind of...
If you wanted to borrow Octopath, I've got 1 and 2 on Switch.
As a card?
Yes.
The name's so bad. Triangle Strategy, man.
Yeah.
What a name and convention. But it's out now. Philly Boots. And again, it's nice to see more of these Japanese releases coming to Xbox. I think we understate that sometimes. That they said they were going to make an effort to bring more. And they've certainly done that over the last couple of months. And aside from Gamescom, we also got the exclusive Kirby Air Riders release date and a 45-minute Kirby Air Riders Direct, which went deep onto the gameplay, which is, of course, the follow-up to the Kirby Air Ride game that came back on the GameCube back in 2003. Didn't even know this was a thing. It has a bit of a cult following in the years since from the GameCube day. This one is being developed by Bandai Namco. So it's a developer company called Sora. The The 45-minute
Sora
direct,
is the company that's owned by Masahiro Sakurai, the guy who created Smash Bros.
And that's why he explicitly popped up.
And Kirby. He created Kirby. So.
And he popped up saying it's not going to be a Mario Kart clone, because from everything I've seen from Kirby Air Riders, it just looks like a kart racer.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere between. It's raised the line between kart racer and puzzle platformer in places.
That's a weird combination.
It is. But I've never played a Kirby Air Ride game, so I don't know for certain.
One of the games that I definitely think I'd enjoy was it Kirby in the Lost Kingdom or something? The one that came out last year. It was like The Last of Us meets Kirby, and it had these like beautifully realized post-apocalyptic worlds, and you run around as Kirby and absorb cars and trees and everything else.
Yeah, I never played that, but it looked cool.
Kirby's one of them characters. I know you say Sakurai created him. He's just a pink circle.
Yeah, but he was created for the Game Boy, I think. If I'm getting my Nintendo knowledge correct there. So you got limited hardware. How do you make a character that stands out quite well on the Game Boy?
Yeah.
You can't go too complex with your character design. So it worked.
It's a pink circle. He's basically a Jigglypuff as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, actually, in Smash 1, you could play a Jigglypuff, and she was basically quite similar to Kirby.
The same moveset.
Yeah. Not quite, but yeah, similar movement rather than moveset.
Well, Kirby Air Ride evolved into Kirby Air Riders. And we got a date for it, so yeah, coming out later on this year. Enjoy that. Go check that one out. Last quick ones. Don't really need to get into. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons has stepped down following years of criticism, layoffs, and other infamous dips that he's done. He decided to pass the torch over, seemingly in like a pleasant departing. Been with Bungie as the lead since 2015. Reports emerged back in 2021 of like toxicity and over sexism at the studio. He's apologised, refuted claims since then. Then Sony bought them, and then there's been in-house lawyering and Bungie layoffs and stuff, and people not happy, and unionisation and statements that have gone on. And we've seen the declining sales of Destiny and the subpar acceptance of Marathon. I think it's kind of like having that trickle-on effect, and seemingly parting ways is best for all parties, especially while PlayStation seemingly bring Bungie more in-house and kind of want to bring them as part of the PlayStation Studios family rather than being a sub-entity, which they've always said they were going to run independent since the buyout. But is that the best case scenario for PlayStation? We'll probably find out in the coming months as we get closer to the launch of Marathon. Another quick story to round out, confirming Richie from last week, Helldivers 2 meets Halo. We thought about it. The trailer put it out. It comes out tomorrow, Tuesday the 26th. So get your hands on that one. Remember, Richie, if we do get around to a live stream, I have given you company money to purchase it and play it with us. Yeah, I've said I need to play Helldivers with you in the audience, so we've got that ring fence protected for you to jump in and play with us when we get around to a stream. But yes, it's been officially titled Helldivers Cross Halo ODST Legendary Warbond is coming out. The ODST stands for Orbital Drop Shock Troopers, which we knew about. In Helldivers 2, they're called the Obedient Democracy Support Troopers, ODST. So there's like a nice tongue-in-cheek thing about spreading democracy again. You can buy the war bonds using super credits. War bonds are just like season passes for the game, Richie, for those who are uninitiated. But the reason Helldivers is so well received is that you can get it all with in-game currency. Just do a bit of a grind. It doesn't take forever. But you can just buy it straight outright. I think it's about 15 quid probably. But it comes with Halo-themed assault rifle weapons, pistols, shotguns, Halo-themed armor, and Halo-themed capes and honorary heirlooms and badges and stuff and more. So it's very much, if you're a Halo fan and you haven't played Helldivers, you're going to have an absolute blast. And then the final story for the week is we've got our PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium titles dropping for August. That comes in the form of Mortal Kombat, PS1, Marvel Spider-Man Remaster, Sword of the Sea, Earth Defense Force 6, Unicorn Overlord, Atelier Riser 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key, what a name, Indica on PS5, Harold Halibut on PS5, sounds terrible, and Coral Island on PS5, while your premium games are Resident Evil 2 on PS1 and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on PS1 as part of the Classics collection as well.
Not bad gets, actually.
Not at all. Not at all.
And it's Mortal Kombat 1 on the PS5, not Mortal Kombat on the PS1, as you said.
Oh, did I? Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's the one. You'll know. Go check out the PlayStation blog. And Richie, we like to end every single show with looking back at this day in video game history. As mentioned earlier, we are recording on August the 22nd, Friday. Any particular games jump out for you on this day? No Seaman this time, hopefully.
No Seaman, but Chrono Trigger. Why the fuck is this not on modern hardware? It is one of the best RPGs of all time.
Is it
It's
Square
such a good game
as well?
Yes.
Do they
yes,
own
it was
still?
on the Super Nintendo. I believe so, yeah.
So they're dicking around doing Project Triangles and Traveller games.
When I say it's not on modern hardware, I'm not even talking about a remake or a remaster. They just haven't ported it.
So it's not even on Nintendo Online or anything.
Nope.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, and it's one of the highest rated of RPGs of all time. It's got an absolute banging soundtrack. It's like just release the game. Just bring it back.
And it's just
give it a remaster. Don't overdo it. Just get on modern hardware.
And it's just had its 30th anniversary, according to this.
Yes.
As well. So you've missed a milestone date to commemorate it with.
Yes, a shadow drop at Gamescom for a remaster coming the 22nd of August, which is the 30th anniversary. Bang, done.
That would have been sweet.
Square, do you like money?
Another one.
And you know what? It was released on the Super Nintendo, so even if it was a licensing thing, you could have a chat with Nintendo, make it switch to exclusive.
Absolutely. 20 years ago in 2005, we got Nintendogs on the DS, which I definitely know was a thing. Like, my sister adored that for a Nintendo DS back in the day. Huge moment in time. Any other ones from in and around?
Uncharted Lost Legacy 8 years ago.
That's the last Uncharted game we've got. 2017 on PS4. Man, as if it's been 8 years.
Yeah, and no
years.
Uncharted.
Well, nope. Shame. Skipping forward a day, Richie, to August 23rd. 28 years ago in Japan, 1997.
Mafia 2, 15 years ago.
Mafia 2 on the PC. No, GoldenEye 007 came out on the N64. What a game. Revolutionised a lot of stuff. What a game to this day. But yes, as you alluded to, Mafia 2, 15 years ago. And Saints Row reboot as well, 3 years ago already. It's been 3 years since the Saints Row reboot on Google Stadia, of course.
Oh, 24th. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on the Sega Genesis.
Wow. We played that, or saw that, didn't we, in that Polish
we
arcade
did.
in Krakow. So yeah, if you ever want to check out Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on the arcade, 35 years ago today, go to Poland, and there's a video game arcade that has it in all its glory. But with that one, Richie, we will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and tuning in. However you consume our content, we do appreciate you. Of course, if you want to support the channel extra a little bit further, you can do so by joining, becoming a Guild Hero from as little as 99p. You get this show early, access to some of our content early, and stickers and badges next to your name in the live chat. We'll be back later on this week with maybe Gears of War Reloaded and Metal Gear Solid. Gears of Wars and Metal Gears, it's the same name rearranged. It's quite confusing.
Metal Gear's Award Solid Delta.
Reloaded. We'll get them to you later on this week. Don't forget to comment down below what you're playing. Let us know. Keep it in the loop. And join us in the Discord server if you want a little bit more information. All things said and done, my name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
And remember, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Hee hee.
Bye.